and welcome to this another online video session. So in the last session we covered up to the single sideband modulation. So where we have seen that uh, we are going for the single sideband modulation where we are able to get only either upper or lower sideband. But if you look at there, the problem is that even though of course we are carrying the message signal either in the upper or lower sideband, the bandwidth requirement is very much reduced compared to the DSBSC. But if we somehow, because the problem is that the bandwidth requirement for the transmission of video signal is very high. Okay, the requirement is very high, and moreover, its corresponding demodulation circuit at the receiver, we want it to be very simple and inexpensive. Okay, so that is an analog detector circuit. So look into this one, we have to somehow extend the bandwidth requirement for this VSB with the help of our extension of SSB. That's why there in the last class we have seen the vestigial sideband modulation where we have covered there. If you look at this one, the difficulty to isolate the sideband. So that is one difficulty is there because both the sidebands are located concentrated towards FC. So it is not impossible, but it is very difficult here. That is a problem here. Okay, so that another drawback we removed here. So what we have did, we are instead of focusing on isolating completely the either upper or lower sideband with respect to FC, even though some portion has been left out just beyond FC, this side or that side, that is known as a vestigial part, maybe from 20 to 25% if it is left, so that can be carried as SSB itself, that is known as a SSB itself along with some partial portion of the another sideband, that is known as a vestige of LSB or USB, like that. So that is known as a vestigial sideband modulation. That is also going to, you can see here, the bandwidth required for VSB is also going to be enhanced compared to the SSB, that is actually required here in case of VSB for the transmission of video here. Okay, so if you look at this one here, the typical two graphs we have taken here just for explanation here is that the one is the amplitude uh, graph here, another one is its normalized graph here. uh, Here this one is a simple or typical VSB signal spectrum which is to be studied here. We are not going in deep about of this VSB transmission. So it will be carrying two dotted lines here in this graph. The channel bandwidth that is required is to carrying from 54 to 60 megahertz, that is 6 megahertz channel bandwidth is there. So where the picture carrier is located at around 55.25 megahertz, and another one, the sound or audio, is located at around 59.75 megahertz. Okay, so the idea here is that, so whatever the information you want to transmit, that is located uh, just before the picture carrier, means before 1.25 megahertz, and above the 4.5 megahertz where the audio will be there. So like that both the video and audio signals can be transmitted with the enhanced bandwidth in case of vestigial sideband modulation. So its main use is in the transmission of video itself with the enlarged bandwidth compared to the SSB. Okay, so next one we can see, so another important part, so frequency translation means mixing and, or you can say, heterodyning. So you might have studied about super heterodyning receiver in case of the basic electronic subject, where you are going to mix up high frequency carrier signal with the message or modulating signal. Okay, or maybe you have studied in the communication subjects. So what is happening is that normally in the communication systems, it is normally the requirement that we need to shift the band of the frequency spectrum of modulated wave either in the upward direction or a downward direction to have the new frequency band. Means in simple words to tell, many times we need the shifting of the frequency bands either in the plus or minus direction for our modulated wave. Okay, for example, if fc is the frequency of modulated wave, then frequency translator simply changes this modulated wave frequency fc in the upward direction, that is a plus fl, or downward direction, that is a minus fl. Okay, so now to do these frequency shiftings either plus or minus, again we need to have the product modulator here. Okay, so what is the input we are giving here? We are giving the input, that is a modulated signal we are giving as input. Okay, so that is ACM of t cos 2 pi fc is the modulated signal, DSB signal we are giving it as input here, and product modulator another signal is coming, a high frequency carrier signal coming from the local oscillator. Okay, so here the m of t is a band limited frequency signal from minus w to plus w, and its Fourier transform pair you can see here. If you take its Fourier transform pair s of t, that is s of f, amplitude will be reduced by 2, AC by 2, m of t will become m of f, and if you take the Fourier transform pair for the cos 2 pi fct, that will be dou of f minus fc plus dou of f plus fc by 2. So that by 2 is coming here, and AC will be amplitude, that is a constant, it will be remaining as it is. Okay, so that m of f is now multiplied with the dou of f minus fc plus dou of f plus fc, then you will be getting these two terms, one indicating upper, another one indicating the lower band portions here. Okay, so if you multiply these two, that is what the output of a product modulator you are getting here. Okay, let us see how the things are working there. So guys, this one is the whole frequency spectrum for your message signal, which is band limited between the minus w to plus w, totally having the bandwidth of 2w. Okay, now it's so when you multiply this one with the locally generated oscillator signal, so we finally got this one. Okay, that is spectrum of DSB-AC signal s of t. So this one we got here. Okay, so next later you can see if you look at this block diagram. So V1 of t now we are getting, that is output of product modulator. So output of product modulator here you are getting. Okay, so this one is your s of t DSB-AC signal that we will be giving as input. This s of t will be giving here. So this s of t double sideband, having the double sideband you can see here. Sorry, we'll be having two sidebands here with suppressed carrier here. Now we'll be giving this as input to product modulator, along with the cos 2 pi fct we are going to multiply. Okay, so now next what output we are getting here? Spectrum of product modulator. Okay, we are getting this one. So AC by 2 m of f minus fc plus m of f plus fc. Now next we want to shift the frequency from fc to instead of concentrating towards fc, now we want to concentrate towards downwards translation, that is fc minus fl. Instead of concentrating the sidebands around fc, now we want our sidebands to be concentrated towards fc minus fl. Okay, towards this, suppose assume if this one is fl, we want this whole sideband to be concentrated either fc minus fl or fc plus fl, like that, that is fc minus fl here. Okay, so let us see how the things are working here one by one. For that we have to multiply simply this DSB-AC signal, that is AC m of t cos 2 pi fct with cos 2 pi flt. Okay, so that we are doing here, that is output of product modulator V1 of t. So s of t multiplied, this is the s of t input multiplied with cos 2 pi flt. Then what we are getting? So you can substitute for s of t, that is ACM of t. So this one you can substitute here for this one, ACM of t cos 2 pi fct. Again this will be remaining as it is outside into cos 2 pi flt. Okay, Now the things will be coming like this. I have written by hand here. So v1 of t, what we are getting, if you apply the trigonometric formula, cos a cos b equal to half into bracket cos of a plus b plus cos of a minus b. That half is coming outside, then that's why you are getting divided by 2 here. What are the constants here? AC and m of t. So AC m of t by 2. So first term is cos of 2 phi fc plus flt. Another term is cos 2 phi fc minus flt. So this simply by applying the trigonometric formula, cos a cos b equal to half into bracket cos of a plus b plus cos of a minus b, bracket complete. After applying that one, you are getting this like this. Okay. Now what we will do, after getting the v of t, we have to visualize this in the frequency domain by taking the ft on both sides. So v1 of t, if you take the Fourier transform, we will get v1 of f. Okay. Now once again, for each cos sign, if you apply ft, ft pair will be having another half we are getting, that is AC by 4 we are getting. This m of t will be going with the impulses functions there, m of f. Now we can see, instead of fc, it will be replaced by fc minus fl. Here itself it is indicating that the concentration of the side bands what we are getting in the frequency domain is shifted from fc to fc minus fl here. Okay, with amplitude again reduced by 4, another by 2. Here we got 2 and it will be again reduced by another half. So how you are getting here, that's how we are getting the output of v1 of t, that is the spectrum of v1 of t here. You can see here the spectrums are now located around fc minus fl and fc plus fl instead of fc. Okay, this is how it is indicating the downward shift of the frequency from fc to fc minus fl. Okay, now we got this one. Next you can see v1 of t, now we got here. Okay, next we will be having band pass filter which is tuned to fc minus fl, means it is tuned to select only fc minus fl frequency components. Here you can see it's a frequency components, you can see here like this, only fc minus fl frequency component will be selected from this one. Okay, so if it is tuned to fc minus fl, now what you can do, when you apply this v1 of t with this frequency spectrum as input to band pass filter, this band pass filter is told to tuned to fc minus fl. Okay, then what you are getting, so output you can see the output of band pass filter, I would like to call it as a v2 of t, that if you take the inverse Fourier transform, that is what you are getting, AC by 2 m of t cos 2 phi, so only fc minus fl is coming here, 2 phi fc minus fl t. Okay, we are applying the time domain signal guys, not frequency spectrum. So out of these two terms in the v1 of t, your bpf is going to select only this first term because your bps is tuned to fc minus fl. Only this term is coming here, not fc plus fl. Okay, now I will replace this fc minus fl by f naught here, substitution. So if you take the Fourier transform, again you are getting a c by 4 m of f minus f naught, no, not fc here. Now this will indicate that if you compare this frequency spectrum of band pass filter with that of the DSB-SC signal what we initially applied as input here, you can see now clear, it is very much clear that your two sidebands which were initially located around fc, now they will be shifted in a downward fashion around fc minus fl, that is f naught here. Your sidebands are now concentrated from fc to f naught, means they are shifted to downward direction from fc to fc minus fl. So that has been cleared here. Okay, so this is all about the frequency translation or heterodynamic in the downward direction. Okay, so the things are clear here. Once again I put the spectrum here for you to understand the things here. So now next you can see upward translation. Now we want to separately will take here upward translation here from fc minus fl fc to now I want to shift it to fc plus fl. Okay, in the similar fashion I want you to work out the steps again, that will be a homework for you. The steps will be getting like this. The output V2 of t, finally what you are getting is like this, Fc plus F1 only will be selected. Okay, you can see here. So now, sorry, from this you are going to select only Fc plus Fl. Now your band pass filter is tuning will be different, that's all. Apart from that, everything else will be remaining same up to this. Okay, ಇದು ಏನು V1 of t ತನ ನೀವು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ, ಫೋರಿಯರ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಬರ್ತೀರಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತನ ಸೇಮ್ ಇರ್ತೈತೆ. Now what I am doing to do the upward translation, I am just simply changing the tuning of BPF from Fc minus Fl to Fc plus Fl. Now it is going to select Fc plus Fl term instead of Fc minus Fl. That's why simply you are getting this Fc plus Fl term. Okay, and then I will replace this Fc plus Fl by this notation F0. Okay, and Fourier transform again you can see it is similar to our this one. Now you can see it is shifted from Fc to F0. F0 means Fc plus Fl. So this how it is a very important point we have covered here today. You have to understand how we are going to shift the frequency spectrum concentration from Fc to Fc minus Fl in the downward translation, or Fc to Fc plus Fl in the upward translation. This is how the mixing or heterodyning is going to happen. So you have to clearly draw the spectrum along with the block diagram, and clearly you have to explain in different steps here. Okay, so this is very simple. This is how it is going to operate the frequency translation. So next one, another point what we want to discuss here is FDM or frequency division multiplexing. We all know about time division multiplexing, where the signal is divided into different parts in the time domain. In the similar way, n independent messages of your signal, because your signal is segmented or cut into different parts. Okay, now each part will be sent with different frequency range. Okay, for example, here you can see we got here simple set of to understand FDM here. So we got here n input messages we want to transmit here, because it is a multiplexing is there. So obviously we want to mix up or multiplex all these n messages and send it as a, so I will assume that here we will be getting SSP signals here, multiplexed here and transmitted as a single signal on the common channel. Let us start with this here. We got here n different message signals. Okay, each message signal having its own band limitation, from minus W2 plus W3 to minus M2 plus M3, or this may be from minus N to plus N, for example. Now all they have been passed through their respective low pass filters. Okay, only low frequency components will be allowed. Next, each one is now mixed with its own unique carrier frequency, carrier signal. Mod it is indicating modulator 1, modulator 2, so on up to modulator n. Each message input signal is mixed up with its own unique carrier signal. Okay, then it will be something like they are acting like a product modulators. Now we'll be having product modulator 1, product modulator 2, and so on up to product modulator n. Okay, so each product modulators supplied with a different carrier signal coming from the carrier supply. So this all it is happening in the transmitter part. Here it is written. Okay, now respectively each modulated signal. Okay, so here it may be DSP is there. Okay, so modulated signal, assume that we will be getting DSP signal. Now it is passed through the band pass filter. Okay, now each band pass filter is going to select only one sideband. Okay, the output of each band pass filter will be getting single sideband signals, SSP signals. Okay, now each SSP signal is now having its own frequency allocation, frequency band allocation. Now all of them, as they will be having different frequency range or band allocation, that's what we are telling frequency division multiplexing. Now all n signals will be having their own frequency range, they will not be overlapped, Now we are going to multiplex them and will be transmitted, means SSB signals allocated with different frequency ranges or bands now will be multiplexed and sent as a single signal through the common channel. So this all it is happening in the transmitter side. Similarly, respectively at the receiver side, we'll be having separate or individual band pass filters for the respective separate channels to receive them. Then respect to demodulators, again having different carrier signals. And one more important thing, the carrier signal what you are supplying to demodulator 1 and carrier signal what you are supplying to the modulator 1, for example, should be synchronized. They should be same. Otherwise, we are going to lose some information. Some information will be left out. Then after that, it will be given as input low pass filter to extract our message signal. Okay. So in this way, the total bandwidth what we can say, we can easily guess the FM is multiplied with n different channels or message signals. So that much bandwidth is totally required here to transmit, even though we are multiplexing here by allocating different frequency bands to all SSB signals, uh, but it requires n FM of amount of bandwidth. So this is the main concept how we have to explain the main concept or operation of the frequency division multiplexing. Now we'll stop.